This is the one that's got the fold down the tailplane
people,
there.
modes and codes. You know what I'm saying? Modes and codes. What are y'all doing? Hi, what's going on, peeps? What's happening? It's Dave. We're here. We're doing good. I'm still trying to figure out why the hell that thing is coming up the way it is. We're gonna have to stop that crap. Trying to see what that's all about. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so let's take that on out. Yes. Okay, there we go. Hi, peeps. How y'all doing? We're talking some good shit today. Y'all stopped by. Our new pre-recorded show. I'm gonna do a little bit of differently thing here. What did I just say? What I'm talking about is I think what we're gonna do is gonna have a slight different intro to the ones that are gonna be, like I think ultimately we're gonna have two paper versions of Paper Aircraft Weekly. One's gonna be the live show, of course, and then the other one is going to be this pre-recorded show. But in either case, we're still gonna have Paper Aircraft Weekly. You follow? I just want two versions because I think it's best to do it this way. I mean, literally, after looking back on it, like, Tech Talk is one thing, but I want Tech Talk. I mean, Tech Talk is getting to be repetitive the way I say it, but Tech Talk is like, want to be more than just that. It's going to be a live show. We do more than just that, I mean, it's like topics of the day, and I understand that Tech Talk does keep us in line, but I think it's going to be a different mode of operating with us if we have it in such a way that the channel is going to look, shows will be different. The channel's going to look different if we have Tech Talk blurbs by everybody putting them in for different shorts and stuff like that. And I didn't find the freaking video. I don't know what the hell's up with that. I was looking for the video. I couldn't find the video. I can't explain why I didn't find the video. I'm working on that, though. Be apprised of the situation. The video is a clip I was referring to. I was talking about it last week. I wanted to get a clip in there. Can't find a clip. I just got lazy. I'll probably post it up there after this show because I'm tired of being lazy. And we're going to make this a quicker show because it's a show, trying to make this a little bit more standard. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, let's get into it. Modes and codes. By modes and codes, if you've followed along in the military, you know what it is. Bells and whistles, singing, dancing. It's modes and codes is what is pilot jargon for what an aircraft possibly is like throwing at you, right? So I wanted to say, like, I know there's a lot of you, most of you, and I know there's some of you that are out there that you do your, you don't like doing the dating and you don't like doing the numbering. And for those of y'all that like only have one or two aircraft of the type, I get it. There's really no reason to number. I understand. It's not a big deal. But I guess it really doesn't matter if there's a date on it or a number. And they go hand in hand. If you're not going to put a date code on it, or if you're not going to put a number on it, you don't need to put a date code, or vice versa. If you have 10 planes, if you're only ever going to make 10 planes, right? If you make them 10 different days, so be it. You don't have to number them. And I mean, we highly recommend it here at IVPAC, but obviously as other individuals out there flying, you don't have to do this sort of thing. But to say that you won the award, or like a plane might have won the award, or like this is the plane flying, and of course we've got some video proof in some cases, but we don't know the numbers they are, especially if they look similar. In the case of Powerhouse, obviously that might be different, but we're thinking more in terms of aircraft that really do look the same. Your own aircraft, or perhaps even different aircraft, but whatever that is, if you want to win an award with us, because we do give out awards, especially for best flight, or if you want to have that, or if like we do a meetup and you want to be able to identify them, especially from a distance, and God knows if somebody else is throwing them around. I know you've seen some videos of there's people that go out there en masse and go fly around, and if you see that you see that happen. Sometimes it's hard to tell who's playing as who's. The numbers help. Obviously, it won't help too much if they're like close together, but the numbers do help. I just want to put that out there. I just think, like, again, a coding situation for your, at least your date, be able to tell how old the plane is. Some people, I mean, it doesn't matter, I guess. If you just, like, build a plane and you lose it, or you build a plane or it's crap, or you're just going to, like, build a plane and possibly throw it out, whatever the case may be, okay, I understand. There's really no point. But here in IVPAC, we treat it a little bit differently than that. I'd like to think that we, like certain stores, certain ones, obviously, famously, you've seen mine multiple times. I have 30-year-old aircraft in my facility. You wouldn't know that if you didn't date them. And sometimes it's good to look back on. Sometimes it's good to see, and sometimes it's good to remember the certain ones. If you saw the show before, he's like looking at 372, for example, is a phase G372. It's famous amongst us because, again, it's got a number. We know which one it is. But that's why. Like, you just say, I mean, again, if you've got like an identifying characteristic, it's not that big of a deal. But most of us that are in do some kind of number and do the date. Yeah. So I'm just thinking, like, keeping track of them in some way, shape, or form. That's all. And that's the best way to do it. Date codes, and on top of that, number codes. Obviously, you might not always need that. But also going further into that, especially for IVPAC members, okay, you may not need the dates, you may not need the numbers, but I do say you definitely need your Fincodes. I was working on, the only reason I wanted to target that is because this is the coding, good God, I'm like retarded. This is the coding quick reference sheet that I use. A lot of you other members wouldn't have one as complex as this. It wouldn't be as long, wouldn't be as wide. I've just got some planes that are stationed at multiple places. As you can see right here, Javelin. It's got 7 locations, so it's got to be there. But if you remember, you have a base, you have planes at the base. You need to know, like, what to put on the Fincode. This is primary reason of, like, A, it just looks cool, and B, it's like a way to spot them if they ever are together, and especially if you have planes that look a lot alike. The coding helps out. I don't think I'll ever take any of my birds out again without actually, like, having some kind of code on them, whatever base they belong to. I mean, I know, but other people might not know. So it's good to have that on there. It's some location. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter how big. It doesn't matter how. I mean, certain aircraft are a lot better to see the codes on than others. Some have fins, vertical or, like, horizontal even. I'm just saying you should actually have them in a visible spot so that they can be located and identified. For IVPAC members, it's semi-mandatory. You don't have to put the dates or numbers on there. Again, we cannot stress how highly we recommend it as a member, but you don't have to do it. It just makes it easier, especially the number. And again, if you don't date it, the number really kind of doesn't matter. You just like, fuck, it's number 3. I built it later. I don't know. I might have built another one. It's easier to keep track of, even though it takes the time. Plus the fact that, I mean, if you're building it, there's always a stage when it's easy to write on. Just write it on there before it's finished, For those of us that folded versions, you write it before you make the wings. For those of us that, before it's taped, you might want to put it on, like, when the body's finally formed and there's, like, just about to apply the tape, Rounded bodies, blended bodies, flying wings, whatever the case may be. Just put it in a spot. But the Fincodes belonging to the bases of the IVPAC members, that we do require, because we need to be able to tell them apart. So, for those of y'all that haven't been able to do that, we chastise you. The big finger of shame. Get on it, damn it. We need to be able to tell them apart. And besides that, again, it just looks cool. The whole point of this was to be able to actually have a flight line of aircraft with Fincodes that you can go out and when you go see, like, Air Force bases and such. Real places, like the Royal Air Force, like the Russian Air Force, like anybody that's got a massive line, the Russian Air Force might be a bad kind of example because they just put the star and then, BBC Pilchke. But usually, whatever it is, it pertains to the station they're based at. So that's what we like to keep track of. That's what makes it cool. There's an installation sheet. Every member knows this. We have one to keep track of, like, our current set of installations, who gets where and what's based where. And it's kind of like having a yearbook that you get from any Air Force, like a Royal Air Force yearbook that you see, and it tells you, like, where the planes are, what they're stationed, what they're doing there, and, you know, like the codes that they might have because they're based there. Well, our installation sheet does that. You can use that, of course, when it's a digital copy. It's a lot easier to filter. Has a hard copy. If you get your own copy, you want to highlight it or whatever. But in case of, like, if you only have one base, obviously you only have to go to one point and you know what it is and everything's there, and it's only going to have one letter. But you see what mine looks like, because I have multiple different aircraft flying with multiple different roles at multiple different bases. So I call it the cheat sheet, the code and quick reference sheet, because I know when I go down, like, oh, if I'm going to figure out where Vampire's based, I got Vampire here and it's located at 6 locations, and maybe I've got like 5 of them here and 3 of them here, and I need to augment this, and because there's 17 of them here or whatever, so I'm going to put this one on there, and I just know Vampire can get any one of these. Obviously it could be others, but the cheat sheet that I have here not only tells you, like, the fin code it's going to have, but it gives you a summary of the role. This is its numbering code that I use, which is a small letter. You can use whatever you want if you choose to number them. That's why you see, like, G372, because the phase contains the G code. It's, again, totally up to everybody's discretion as to how you want to number it, if you number it. But then, like, I also have, like, they have colors. Especially if they fly in white, or even if they don't fly in white, you might want to sticker tab them. I go that far. I haven't been up to date on it, but I'm trying, and I usually use crayon because crayon's the easiest way to do it without affecting the body. But then, like, they carry brick red, raw sienna, midnight blue. These are the colors that these particular have. But then I have the numbers. This is the squadron. This is the wing it's based at, and that's the fin code it would get. So I know Vampire, this is the one I was talking about. It's the 239th Squadron at the 239th Bomb Squadron, because Vampire is a dive bomber, at the 151st Bomb Wing. So it gets a JJ on the fin. It's that easy. Again, you people that wouldn't have too many of them wouldn't need something as in-depth as this, so you wouldn't even need a cheat sheet. You just go to yours, like, I know that I've got 2 bases, so, like, one plane, certain set of planes, these planes are there and these planes are there. You wouldn't need this. You just, I got MT on one, I got VV at the other, you know. So mine just don't get daunted by mine. I'm daunted by mine because I've got all this to take care of. But that's by choice. I wanted it to be cool. And I didn't know, the truth be told, it boils down to, I didn't know how other members, once they acquire, you know, once you got entry, I didn't know how you'd feel about doing it. So I had to make up for the losses I would take, because maybe some of you people wouldn't want to do it or neglect to do it or whatever the case may be. And I can understand that. I just want to get people together that fly. But I'd really prefer to see this, because I personally think if there were like 20 of us and each one just brought one plane and they were all running down the line, I would think it'd be really cool to see each fin code from each base down there. But again, apparently that's just me. Anyway, modes and codes, I'd really like to see in people. And of course, on that note, get your roundels, members. Go get them. I'll give you the template if you need them. They're not that expensive. You could do it from home if you got a laser printer, as long as you got the Avery stick up. But you could take them to, like, an Office Depot, Office Max, Staples. They'll do it for you, relatively cheap. It's probably the most expensive thing I do with my aircraft, but it's just cool. I think it's the way to go. I mean, I could just be talking out of my ass when it comes to that too, but I think it's the way to go. I think people should try it. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. And touching on the fact that I was going to get into simple mods, the mods, like, it's a Tech Talk, it's a version of Tech Talk, but simple mods, like, when you do the modifications to certain planes, obviously sometimes it's intensive. It's a fold that may change the way the lookout of your plane or whatever. I'm referring to simple mods in the phrase of, like, they really are something that's just like a base fold that you could just take out, tape in places you normally wouldn't put tape, staple, a paperclip. Something like that. Especially something like a paperclip. But staples, too, I consider a simple mod because they're easily taken out. You don't need You just don't need. It's not permanent. I don't think a regular mod is permanent. I don't think it's a good phrase for it. However, I don't see that like a simple mod is something that's easy to remove without affecting the plane too much. Tape is almost not a simple mod because wherever you apply it, of course, you could take it back off and it could end up being, well, not really being, but it could end up like tissue paper in your plane. You can end up, you've seen what you do if ever you've actually put tape down and you've changed your mind and not wanted to put the tape down, you see what happens. That's what I'm referring to. Is like, okay, well then your plane's kind of ruined right there. Then it's not exactly ruined. It's just a matter of that area is not how you foresaw it when you originally started out. You know, it's the best way to put it. So it changes things. It's different. It can be argued because of something like that exactly how much the level of how much a level of simple tape really is. It's one thing if you were to say apply it to a location here centrally located to hold a fuselage down, and like if you flew the plane, I definitely suggest this. If you flew the plane without it, it was like, well, it didn't like that, so you just cut it, but you leave the remaining tape in place. It's just free again. I think that's probably, God damn it, I think that's probably the best way to, kind of like make it not as cool. Damn, I wish I had done that. Anyway, so it's your own. It's how you look at it. I don't. Simple mods versus regular mods. I mean, however you want to do it. I just think like there are something that's easier for you to do or take out and reapply and reapply. I like to stress that because if it's a staple, you take it out. You didn't like the way it was when it's stapled. You try to put it back in. Oh, wait, works. You take it back out again. You can put it back into the same holes. I mean, you'd have to take some good precision to do that, but it can be done. So, simple mods are the way. That's how I'm phrasing it. Yeah. Okay. There's that. What else we got? Any like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna term it the way it is, like it is actual anniversary. Wait, what? I've got anniversaries on the brain because I'm looking them up right now. I don't know if it's like we're gonna keep this the way it is and call this Paper Aircraft Weekly with Paper Aircraft Weekly back, or maybe just change the title. Like Paper Airplane Weekly. I don't know. There might be different ones. They might have different presentations. Just keep this in mind because this is the way we're going. I want this to, like, seriously, by springtime when we actually really can, at least us Wisconsinites, can start flying in rigor again, I want it to be something way cooler than what it is. Bear with me. I'm going to do a quick check here to see what kind of anniversaries we got because we had some big ones in the past for Missile. We had some big ones for NASA's over there. Don't know where he's at. He should have been here. It's okay. We'll be on the show. Trust me. Follow along. It's February 15th. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. And, of course, being February 15th, a big day in my history, of course, was Javelin's rollout on the day before Valentine's Day of 1988. This is throwing me for a loop because we haven't been there for a weekly, but yeah, I'm gonna go back. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of action here at this time. This is not what I did. Give me the calendar, you big chug-a-lug. There it is. So we have to go back to the 8th. So we're going back to the 8th. Okay. When's the last time we talked to you? Well, I'm going to include the 8th because it's one day. We're the 15th, so I'll include that. And we'll put some 15s in here because it looks like some things have been happening. So what do we got? We got anything active? Yes, of course we've got things active. Javelin, Thunderbolt, Omniwing Swift for OAE, actually, and Titan, both. Titan is today. Titan, which is a primary fighter for him, as a matter of fact, that's really cool that it's on board. Titan's third. No, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm like looking right at it. I'm confused with myself. Third anniversary. It rolled out February 15th, 2019. His active bird for something like that. That's cool. At least one of us have a current day. I mean, usually it's hard to hit on today. I mean, we could always change that and just make the show, but we don't do that. So, but in the meantime, of course, we talked about it last week because of the time frame. Thunderbolt, 21 years old as of the 10th, and Javelin, which I'm embarrassed to say, but Javelin, is 34 years old as of 2 days ago. The design. I don't have any 34-year-old aircraft here. Now, you've seen some of my birds, so you know that there's others here that are old, but not that old. So, yes, Javelin's been around for me quite a while. But again, like we talked about that before, it's like if it ain't broke, and I tweak, so I modify things, and it's one of those planes. It's like it just gets better, or it's been better. So I don't do anything to it. Don't do anything with it. It's my birdie. Hopefully you guys, again, if you don't date them, you'll never know. If you date the rollouts, which we do, we have to do that here. I mean, so it's kind of crucial. So your rollout dates are important for us as IVPAC members. But that in itself, you keep track of the dates that they rolled out. You keep track of, how old they are. And it's important to know who's is earlier in case there's a name conflict and you want to get into it. I don't think that's actually a big deal, but some people might. I just want to avoid, conflict. So, I mean, we want to get into conflict, but we want to avoid conflict. So, man, I can't put too much tech on this thing. Talk about simple mods. This is the first time I've ever given. This is a crap version. I screwed this up somehow, so I was using this one. This is one of the simple mods that's made me think about it because I never actually. Banshee has never actually gotten the spider slant, I like to call it. I was trying to think of a better word for it, but so it's like that reverse slant. It's high up here, it's low down here. So I'm giving Banshee the spider slant to see. Basically what it can do. I'm trying to, I shouldn't have even done what I just did back there to the tail end of it, but I'm, because I don't want it to tech out, It's what we say too, you have to, we're testers, okay? So you have to test. You have to figure out what's working first before you go any further, and you can't you can't over-tweak. You can't put, 5 different techs on there and then hope to figure out, oh man, this thing flies good. Yeah, what of the 5 things that you put on it made it fly good? So you don't want to over tweak it. You don't want to over tech it. I'm always going to do this at the beginning anyway. So this isn't nothing. Banshee Type 3 has got 2 subvariants. So, and now Banshee's I'm about to literally break out a new tech for Banshee. So. And whether or not it changes things, it has the potential to change some stuff. I mean, I venture to say I'm probably going to, offer up on my channel Banshee announcement because if this really works the way I think it's going to work, Banshee's going to, encompass a new role. Type 3s really don't differ, as far as their flight plans go. It hasn't changed much. Their flight profiles or their roles have not changed any between Type 1 to Type 3. I think the new version that I'm planning on working with is a possibility of a new type and possibly a new role to go with it, but that's a talk for another time. So, in the meantime, you get to see this one being finished up as I try to figure out what else I want to do to it. I want to keep it kind of, I wanted to keep it basic, but I really actually want to play with it because I wanted that son of a biscuit. I shouldn't have cut that back in. So I'll just, see, this is what I was talking about. This is exactly what I mean we don't want to over-tweak. A lot of the Type 3s, a lot of the Type 3s, bloody hell. Bear with me, I'm being a goofball. Type 3s, typically have the slant, of course. I've done away with and retired Type 1s and 2s. Because, they all flew right, but they didn't look as cool. And that's my prerogative. So, made them look cooler. Anyway, so the Type 3s, Jesus, what was that? I just got haunted, people. Type 3s are better looking, a little bit harder to make, of course, so I like that. But also, it doesn't change their flight so much. And they typically have the fin back here, which, as you can see, I'm neglecting with this one. Because I was trying to give it, like, this is so stupid. Alright, I'm going to do this because this is more like what I was actually trying to do in the first place. Okay, there we go. That's less tech, believe it or not, even though it's kind of a tailplane tech. So there. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm going to staple it, and we're going to go from there. But, geez, I'm not sure how much I like that either. You see the way that's working out, but I'll probably fold that in. Yeah, I'll fold that in. Okay, I'm going to fold that in. Follow me. So, yeah, you don't want to tech out your bird because you just don't know if what it is that it's enjoying, what it is that's making it long. So that's why you also have to build a fleet. You can't just... NASA's touched on this before. I've been involved in this for a long time. You don't want to have a plane with even two types of it, and you just need to start out with one. Start out slow. Start out and figure out exactly, okay, what's the one that's causing the coolness, and then you can decide whether you want to compound it and it makes it better or not. So, that little touch that I just did, the fold there, which gives it that, it's not necessarily required. I don't find that as a typical Type 3 thing myself. This is me reporting on Banshee. You tuned in for this, I know, I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah. Don't tech out. Don't tweak too much. Don't tech out. Obviously, we want you to better your designs, but you should do it incrementally, not like, let's put all of it on one plane. I mean, hell, dude, don't get me wrong. If it works, it works. But it'd be funny to be able to actually take that piece of tech off, that piece of tech off, that piece of tech off, and find out it still works. And it's like, well, I can just keep it simple. What the hell? So, again, something to keep in mind, because chances are if you build the one and it has all the tech, it's probably going to be good. But you could probably figure out how to make it less good, less ways, and then you start talking about our attrition squadrons and not having to worry about them, you know? So, you don't have to worry about sitting in enemy territory and getting shot down. Always a plus, my people. Always a plus. Anywho, that's our show. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for checking us out. We're not live. I'm still going to say it because why not? You know what I mean? But in the meantime, people, this is how our show format's going to be. This recorded one, stay tuned for more. There's going to be others coming up. We'll still have a live show, so we get to chat planes. But this is in the meantime to keep you hyped, keep you folding, keep you happening, and obviously keeping them flying. But better yourselves, better your designs.